Good morning, Dubai. My name is George Sebastião. Welcome to Metaverse Summit. It's my pleasure to be with you this morning, and I'll be talking obviously about the Metaverse, safety, security, privacy, and some of the risks associated with it. I've been in the Middle East for 26 years, and my background is about 22 plus years in cybersecurity, and I've obviously worked in technology for the last 35 years, and out of that, about 7 years in blockchain. And we have this immersive environments and the metaverse for the last 3 to 4 years. So let me share you my screen. So welcome to Metaverse Week in Dubai, Metaverse Summit. And what you see here is actually an overview of some of the risks and the privacy risks associated with running in the metaverse. When we talk about cybersecurity, one of the most important elements is how you protect yourself and how you do it in terms of time and speed. Because today, due to the connectivity to the internet, especially in these immersive environments, the amount of information that you can damage and steal in a short period of time is very, very fast. That really means you need to monitor your systems 24/7 by 365 days a year. We actually have a very simple equation that we call the protection time must be greater than the detection or the reaction time. That means the time that it takes you to discover that you were attacked and how you respond to it is extremely important. And we refer to this also as time-based security. When we talk specifically about metaverse, I think Gartner Group puts it better than everybody else. Immersive environments have been with us for more than 15 years, but the metaverse is actually quite unique because it's not just the immersive environments. It's about digital currency, payment systems, e-commerce, social media, gaming, AI, and natural language processing, all cooperating at the same time. So that means when we're talking about privacy and cybersecurity of these environments, you're really talking about protecting the entire ecosystem and the entire life cycle that actually makes this ecosystem. Obviously, we have had many issues before. Let's take some simple ones. Many of you have used or traded NFTs, most of them today in the most common marketplace known as OpenSea. The Discord server of OpenSea got hacked, which is where they actually build community, and they basically ended up promoting some scam NFT passes. So that means you end up maybe buying something that has little or no value and puts basically your privacy at risk, but also the funds that you invest as well. But the problems actually go much beyond that. When the Bored Apes, which is also a very popular platform, launched their metaverse, Ethereum platform was not ready. And the simple reason is that Ethereum platform can only process a limited number of transactions per second. So if you have a very large number of users that are actually participating in this platform, the platform will not be able to respond in time and it will crash. This is the second time that it actually happened. If you remember, when NFTs were introduced almost 5 years ago, there's something called CryptoKitties, which was one of the most popular NFTs at that time based on smart contracts and merging kitties together. At that time as well, the Ethereum platform had an extremely hard time to actually handle that volume of requests, and it caused the platform to become very slow and the gas fees to become extremely high. So sometimes it's not just the denial of service, but it actually the cost effectiveness of running in these new metaverse environments. As a result, Bored Apes are looking at creating or using a different metaverse than the one that is there today. The risks, however, come from many other areas. It's not just the complexity of the environment, the scams, but there's a lot of fake meeting. There's vulnerabilities in the APIs. As you know, in Metaverse, you're actually connecting your digital wallet like MetaMask. So if MetaMask is vulnerable, that means your digital assets like your NFTs or the tokens that you earn are also vulnerable as well. There's been a recent vulnerability associated with MetaMask, which was associated with the iCloud backup, meaning that the entire passwords of your MetaMask wallet were being saved in your iCloud environment. So if somebody was able to penetrate that iCloud environment, they will have entire access to your MetaMask wallet as well. But the devices, like the goggles that we use to see the metaverse, have their own issues as well associated with privacy. This privacy becomes even more important when we're talking about, for example, applications associated with military training, or for example, when we use metaverses in medical environments, because now we're talking about healthcare and we're talking about privacy protection of the patients. So even more important, there's cases of supply chain issues. So we need to build a lot of awareness associated with these new environments. So when we're talking about securing the metaverse, the issue is much bigger. It's actually about securing the entire Web 3.0 ecosystem. And that ecosystem is quite complex with lots of APIs. And the most important element about Web 3.0 is actually what made out of Web 2.0 as well, which is the data. In Web 3.0, we have even much more data because we have the immersive environments, we have video, we have audio, and all these data needs to be protected because this data is actually being passed to AI systems to actually make the decision process. We also have to protect the bridges between the various environments. One of the most popular gaming platforms called Axie Infinity just lost $650 million as a result of the hack of their inter-bridge or inter-blockchain bridge platform. So typically the bridges between these multi-chain platforms are actually a big risk as well as they exist today. Axie Infinity was not the only bridge that got hacked, several others got hacked as well. So the total hack associated with hacking bridges in metaverse environments has actually reached over $1 billion already. So the risks are quite substantial. We're talking about somewhere between 5 to 10% of the funds, which is quite high. Also, the types of crimes that we have in the normal world are also making their way into the metaverse. So we have things like, for example, cyberbullying in the metaverse. And as a result, the people that actually created the metaverse had to create new protection mechanisms. Example, if you're in the Facebook metaverse, they actually created a fence in which you can keep people 10 or 15 meters away from you so that they don't actually invade your personal or private space. The issue is actually much more darker than that. So if you're interested, please follow me on social media. And I've posted a lot of articles associated with those risks already as there. What is the primary tool that you use today to access those environments? It's your browser, whether you use that browser in your desktop, your tablet, or your mobile phone. However, with those browsers, there's a lot of plugins. These plugins, including the MetaMask plugin, can sometimes have vulnerabilities in them, and some of them are actually spying on you. So as a result, because these are vulnerable or because they contain backdoors, they can also make your access to your metaverse environment extremely risky. So you need to protect the entire ecosystem in which you use the metaverse, not just the metaverse elements as well. In the metaverse, we also do a lot of e-commerce transactions. So we trade items, digital assets. Those digital assets tend to be traded via crypto or digital exchanges. As a result, these digital exchanges are not safe, meaning that you should not keep your most valuable assets for extended periods of time in those exchanges. Why? Because those exchanges get hacked. Sometimes those exchanges become illiquid, or sometimes they even go out of business. And as a result, the digital assets that you keep there might simply just disappear or become unavailable. That means you should keep those in your own wallets, which sometimes called cold wallets, which are actually not connected to the metaverse or connected to the internet. One of the most important tools to protect your assets is what we call cold wallets. This is an example of one of those cold wallets. There's Ledger Nano and there's many others. But even those cold wallets sometimes have issues with them. They actually, although mostly hardware, they also have software in them, also known as firmware. And a few times, the Ledger wallet was actually forced to update their firmware to actually remove some of the vulnerabilities or potential man-in-the-middle attacks that could actually be created against this cold wallet. What I'm really trying to highlight for you is that as you move to the metaverse, you need to protect all these elements. You need to understand the risks associated with all the elements that make up the metaverse. And because you're talking about financial or asset transactions or digital asset transactions, you need to protect all the elements that participate in these digital asset transactions. So this is all about controlling risk. What do you find, you can say, the acceptable risk level that you're going to undertake? So we have tools that we have created to actually help you manage and control this risk. And many of those tools are actually available today for free. We created a group almost 3 years ago called xrsi.org. XR means extended reality. And this framework enables you to measure, quantify risk, and actually remove that risk from the operations of your metaverse or immersive environments. So I invite you to visit this. This is not the only site that contains such information, but it is a good starting point in which you can eliminate most of the common risks associated with running in these new highly immersive environments. The idea is to really assess the risk that you have and then enable you to actually protect yourself against these risks in a continuous, effective, and structured way. So the metaverse, it is an extremely disruptive environment. It's introducing a whole new generation of business models. It is introducing new distribution channels for your business, for you as individuals participating in this summit today. So please be aware that there's risks associated with it. Understand these risks and then control these risks so that it provides you with a safe metaverse. So we continue now for any questions that you may have. We can ask also these questions on social media. We have regular meetups almost every week, sometimes twice a week, in which we discuss these issues with the entire community in Dubai. So looking forward to meeting you at these new environments, and enjoy the metaverse. It's a pleasure to be with you here today at Metaverse Summit, and I hope you enjoyed the remaining of the conference. Thank you.